The following podcast contains spoilers.
Hey, it's Joe Bunzarelli.
All right, guys, the big finale of Ashoka dropped. I got Bob with me, and we're talking about Part 8, The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
This is the Bunzarelli Show.
So one thing I got a theory is I think this is almost like the end of something and the beginning of something. But I know, like, Ahsoka's Dave Filoni's baby. And
Right.
there might have been, the first thought I had was like, what was the arc here and where it ended and where it began? And I'm thinking, like, I wonder if the point was to put Ahsoka out of play for when the sequel movies happen. To just show, like, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The movies.
Yeah,
I'm
like
just thinking setting up for another season.
No, I think some of the stuff, the groundwork was laid, like the stuff with Thrawn and Ezra coming back. But I almost think that's like they're putting Ahsoka in a corner for a second. Now, whether she, and I know I jumped away to the end, but I was trying to revolve, like, well, what was the arc here? And I think a lot of the arc was, first of all, the Ahsoka making, like, the big picture would be the Ahsoka making peace with Anakin becoming Vader, and Ahsoka getting over those fears that made her bail on Sabine, which we finally got a definitive answer, which was like, she basically thought Sabine was going to go to the dark side because of the Mandalore thing. You know what I mean? Because she was just, like, afraid of, like, her becoming more powerful and just having that anger and vengeance, which is reflective because of her experience with Anakin. But yeah, a lot of good stuff in here. They had the Morgan Elsbeth leveled up. She got like the Night Sister, like, HP. And some interesting stuff about her. I don't know if you really noticed, like, how good she was with the sword, but the actress Diana Leah Soto, she's the daughter of Dana Soto, who's like a big martial arts legend, and her godfather is Bruce Lee. You might have known this already, but she's got, like, a big martial arts history, so that's why, like,
that's cool.
And they did the rematch. Like, she had her first thing with the I'm sorry, with the Beskar spear, her first battle with Ahsoka, and it's only fitting because that was the way to introduce Ahsoka into TV, and then it's like the final battle is with her. You know, kind of came full circle. But she was so good with that sword, the thing she was doing.
Yeah, she was good with it, and I did not expect it at all. You know what I mean? Because I didn't put it together right away. And then I'm just seeing, like, this old zombie witch just start throwing around the sword. That was pretty cool. And the sword was cool as hell. Yeah. That was cool. The zombie thing was a little weird. The zombie Star Wars.
Yeah, it was weird,
or stormtroopers.
Different. It was something different for Star Wars. It was like, hey, let's try this. So, you know, and it was something that what has to do with those bodies or whatever. Where everybody's assuming bodies because they look like caskets, but whatever. Yeah. What's his name? Thrawn is loading up into the ship. Somebody brought up
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then somebody else.
That's why. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then I did cheat. I started listening to Rebel Force Radio because I was just, like, getting anxious. Usually I wait till we do our show, but they were saying they had said, like, I bet it's more Night Sisters in those caskets. That would be really cool because we were just thinking, like, zombie mindless, but that's a lot to unpack. Why do you need zombie mindless bodies? Something else that Dathomir, the planet that the Night Sisters are from, the men from that planet are Darth Maul. Okay. So that might come.
I've seen his name popping up. I've seen his name popping up, and, like, I try to just avoid him to not see any spoilers. But
it could be, you could have a bunch of Darth Mauls, like, running around, you know, not him exactly, but that
whatever
type of character. So that's another interesting thing going on there. I think another big part is Thrawn actually showing kind of, like, how he moves and how he kind of thinks, you know, where his head's at. Like, he learned not to take, you know, the Jedi for granted. Yeah, because that's how Ezra yanked him out of there into that. Ezra got him in that mess. So I think what he's saying, so he's, like, really not playing around with Ahsoka at all. Like, I think we got her. Nope, get her again. And just, like, full frontal assault. And Ahsoka's pushing on. Then we had a good chemistry, the teamwork of them together. And Sabine Jedi Sabine. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah,
enjoyed that. Jedi, another Jedi Mandalorian. She didn't do a lot of Mandalorian stuff, and she was wearing the suit, right?
Yeah,
I didn't see a lot of things getting shot around.
The Mandalorian stuff is so second nature to her. So she's more of a blaster thing, the grappling hooks and everything, all the all those different toys are always there. But if you're just going, plus, like if you think of that Din Djarin, like he's got that one thing, it's like the whatever he shoots out of his wrist, it does all the circles and everything.
Yeah.
But they're always like one-offs. You got to think you got to reload those things. Maybe they're a little more sparing. Like Boba Fett, he shoots that rocket and then he's got to wait a week to go to the Costco and get a new one.
Yeah, or wait for the HP meter to refill.
Yeah. So yeah, I got that might be it. Like the I do like how when she was doing some lightsaber stuff and Ahsoka was just like, no, switch to blasters, like use your strength here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then we had some good moments with Ezra. He was assembling his lightsaber. Kanan Jarrus was big in Rebels. He was the one voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. He died in that Rebels. But for us fans, just to see, he basically remade Kanan's lightsaber. So
okay,
it's
I was going to ask you that. I went back to watch it because I just so happened to miss when he said whose it was. And I'm thinking like, oh, it's going to be someone big. And they said it. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
No, it's Kanan. It was his master. But even if you, like I said, once again, if you didn't follow that, the important thing said in the show was, yes, this is the lightsaber from my master. And you kind of get the idea.
Yeah, it didn't make me lost. I just knew it was a character I didn't know. Like they explained it enough. It wasn't like a hurt in the show. Just like, I thought maybe it was going to be Vader's or something, like evil Vader versus Anakin's. Who knows? What about Balin's skull? Right?
Yeah.
So that's the one. So it left off the one worst thing that could happen. Like, well, I hope it's just not a cliffhanger for his character. That would really be a shame. It's like, I'm sure that won't happen.
Now it's the biggest cliffhanger of all. It's like, are they going to just abandon the story? Like, well, you know what? Forget it. Or they're going to go. It's an interesting conversation that they brought up on Rebel Force Radio. So it's like, what came first, the character or the actor? So is the character that interesting because of the actor, or point being is like recasting? Star Wars for some reason just stays away from recasting, but recasting does happen. Like Don Cheadle, War Machine. It's jarring for like 2 or 3 movies, but eventually you're like, okay, I'm over it. Don Cheadle. And then when I watch Iron Man 1, I'm like, oh, I forgot this other guy was War Machine. So you do make the transition. So I guess it depends how much of that story is locked and loaded and how much Dave wants to tell that story of whatever Balin's doing there.
Something's got to come of it. Something's got to come of it, because it's like if you think of just his roles. Now, what I was thinking before you said the movies, my theory was since Ahsoka's Filoni's baby and all that, and they're ending on a cliffhanger, maybe it's like sometimes movies where they made the next ones already. So maybe he already shot some stuff. Like we might just get lucky and there's stuff shot for his character. But if it's movies next before the next Ahsoka things, if the next season of Ahsoka is not even on the roadmap yet, then I don't know that that's the case. But if you think of his scenes, it's every other episode is him staring off into the distance, saying, "I got a different plan. I got a different plan." We're all like, "Man, this guy's huge. I can't wait to see what his plan is."
And then he looks and he listens and he shrugs. Well, something about the statues he was on. It's something called the Mortis Ghost, which was another thing Dave messed with the Clone Wars. Actually, that came from Lucas. It was like these big, powerful, like almost gods of the Force. And it was funny because on Rebel Force Radio, everybody's like, I bet they do the Mortis gods, and I bet they do the Mortis guards. And everybody, and the Rebel Force Radio guys were like, they're not going to do the Mortis gods. That's too deep cut. And Dave Filoni was like, you know what? Hold my beer. I'm doing the Mortis gods. But but it's something in that place. There's some importance of the Force there, where it comes into play. I don't know. Like James Mangold's supposed to do a movie about the origin of the Force. So I wonder, that ties into that. Are they thinking that far ahead? I don't know. I don't know if everything's a contained thought or everything's like looking towards like world building. Like I know, I definitely think Thrawn is going to be a big player in Mandalorian. even if it's not a direct confrontation, but the things Thrawn is doing is going to affect the things that are happening with the Mandalorian. It's going to affect the world, the climate of the galaxy.
Yeah,
like Carson had that deal with Mando. Like, hey, I'll do one mission at a time. Carson's the guy from the Resistance, so he could be like, yo, Mando, help me with this. Yeah, help me with that.
Oh, we still didn't see the one big guy where
Zeb.
we said there's like, they're setting him Zeb. Yeah, like they're putting him here. We're gonna see him soon.
Yeah, why couldn't he just be standing there at the end, just like just stand? Hey,
what else was on? Yeah, what is? Well, the roadmap's made far out enough that he's got to be in something. They didn't just put him there for no reason, because they cast a voice actor for him. Whoever the character, Zeb, the real big guy.
Zeb is in that galaxy. That's the problem. Zeb is there.
Yeah,
Zeb. Yeah. There was no reason Zeb couldn't be standing there with all the resistant guys.
Oh yeah.
Ezra, like Zeb could have easily been there. He just go, hey, buddy, gave him a hug, and that would have been awesome. That would have actually been. I don't know why he couldn't. Like he even mentioned him when he was talking to Sabine. Sabine goes, "Oh yeah, Zeb's training new recruits, huh?" I didn't catch it. Why would you bust him out for Mandalorian and not bust him out for the show? Yeah. I don't know. Unless Dave's like, I blew all my money on Anakin. I gotta wait for the movie or something.
Did the guys passing away have changed it? No, they said they already shot the whole season before the guy passed away.
Yeah, the show was all
so
done.
It was unaffected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of, I thought when they zoomed out from Balin and he was on the statue of the guy, I thought it was going to be him like staring off like this, and then the statue was just going to be him staring off like that. It's like, what's that? Of Balin, yeah. Like, man, this guy just stares off. And
that's not a statue. Like the never end. It's interesting to see where this stuff all plays out. Some stuff ended, like the Ahsoka Sabine story. There's the ghost of Anakin at the end. First time I was like, I think you're pushing it. And the second time, like, you know what? No, it's cool because it's Ahsoka's thing with herself. And it's Ahsoka. It's the one person. It
was her arc. It was an arc for the season.
Yeah, and it's the one person Anakin failed that he never made peace with, kind of. You know what I mean? Like he saved Luke. He's standing with the ghost of Yoda, and it's really the last of Anakin's unfinished business is Ahsoka, as far as the Jedi are concerned.
What about him and Leia? Was there ever like a goodbye? Was there ever anything between him and Leia?
No, there was some stuff in the books, I think. But
there's anything. That's
there's no ever direct like. There was never even like a thing where Leia's like, even when like.
What about when he appeared at the end at the party in the movies?
When
he appeared with the others. So Luke was there and his sister's back there eating a sandwich, and they're gonna be, hey, Dad's here.
I think it's more. I think at that frame of time,
she didn't have the Force, so she wouldn't have been able to see him.
Well, she had it. She just wasn't as strong in it. She was able to sense Luke at sometimes and everything.
Oh yeah,
but I think
that's right.
But I think Luke was more attached to, and a bigger part of the redemption, where Leia was more like just finding out that it was, that they were brother and sister, and she wasn't as vested in it. To my knowledge, at the time, she hadn't met him, and it was Luke that saved him. It was a very personal Luke and Vader thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
You also got to think that like Leia knew whoever she thought was her parents when she was growing up, Bail Organa and the Queen and everything. So Leia had kind of like a family structure, you know what I mean? Whereas Luke was always curious about what happened to his father. Leia, I don't even think ever knew the name Anakin Skywalker, whereas Luke did at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Leia's got her own. She's got a family.
Yeah,
it's just a, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's just bio dad.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was because of Luke, Vader flipped. And it was actually because Vader mentioned Leia. He goes, perhaps your sister will, where Luke almost, went dark out of anger and came back. But it was just like, Vader more acknowledged her than she acknowledged Vader.
Hu Yang was always fun.
Hu Yang was so good. I hope we see Hu. Yeah, that's so it's season 2 and it's them on that world with that adventure. If they do the Mangold film, he's supposed to be 20,000 years old. So anything you do in the past, he could show up in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So There's that. We didn't get the Rebels reunion. Like you said, Zeb wasn't there. And now Ahsoka and Sabine are far away. So I don't know, do they catch the next whale? How does that work? How that comes into that's kind of really up in the air because they could just stay there forever or they could come back. But now I'm leaning towards they might come back because like you had that chance of that Rebels reunion. You never did. So maybe.
Well, she's supposed to be there. That she's supposed to be there. And what I thought was, because I'm thinking like, well, what could possibly be there? And we only know I only know so much from this show. I don't know the other things, but she's got Baylan there, and she's got the girl. Who's the girl?
Shin. Shin Hati.
So they're all the baby, and she started looking like she was flipping, like when they tried to tell her like, oh, we'll help you. When after a fight she ran off and she hesitated. She thought about it for a second. And then Baylan's there just staring off into the distance. So I took it as, all right, these four are going to team up and then they're going to hitch a ride, because they're all there. She's meant to be there. And then they show them also there.
Well, yeah. And if Baylan's doing something where he's messing with the Force, that's something that would Ahsoka and Sabine would have to get involved in. You know what I mean? So it's something. Yes, that is a very contained story in that area. So yeah, it could make for a very interesting season 2. Also, the success of this season, they could just say, hey, just sign off on a season 2 and that's it. Dave's like, I already got the story lined up. And it could and if the story wasn't lined up,
you could recast Baylan. That's fine.
I think so.
You got to do it. The guy passed away. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
If there's zombies coming back to life, you can have him change his face and be like, yeah, I died, so I took another.
Plus, his look is so distinctive, like a big guy with a beard, and you would definitely you could just see him and be like, oh, that's the new Baylan. Like you would know, you know what I mean? His look is so distinctive, like that big shoulder pad he's got, the way his beard and haircut. So it's even like Mark Hamill said about Luke. He said like I always assumed that they would recast me eventually, and then when they did the whole CG thing, and he was like, no, they did this, but he was like surprised. He's like, I think they would get a younger actor to play young me. So it is,
but look what happened when they did that with Anakin there, how they were on Hayden Christensen, how critics were on him. And that's a recasting, but not really, because it's not like Darth Vader, the actor, was in it much. You know what I mean?
No,
so I can see Star Wars' hesitation, like, because to mess that up. Like if they were to recast Wolverine, they're always talking about recasting him. There's so much pressure on it. God forbid.
Yeah, Wolverine's a big one.
Yeah. So Luke, Wolverine's up there. Luke is up there with him. They're both up there in like top dog, millions of eyes on it. So there's so much pressure on recasting. It's like, let's just do some CGI. Let's just be safe.
That's funny to say that because like Wolverine's the one that I think has been like 20, I don't know how long, but like 2000. Not granted, he has been making movies for 23 years, but 2000 was the first X-Men. So he's the only guy that's played the same character for that long. That I feel bad for the next Wolverine. Like Spider-Man, they pulled it off. Like, all right, we got used to new Spider-Man and stuff. And that guy's got big shoes to fill. But Anakin, I think the one thing this show did for Anakin was really make you be like, yeah, Anakin's awesome. You know what I mean? Because even I was watching, my son started watching Attack of the Clones. I got him finally to watch Star Wars.
Nice.
So I started him on Phantom Menace, which I don't know what the best way to do it was, but I just thought from me knowing his attention span,
gotta get him on.
Let me start. Phantom Menace is a kid's movie. It's got robots and Jar Jar. It's like a good one to start because even when you watch Attack of the Clones,
that would be a great one for him. That's his age.
Yeah, and
same age as Anakin.
Yeah, because Star Wars, the original, even though we high in such high regard, it's dated. It is. It's dated.
Yeah.
I mean, what I mean is the pacing for a 10-year-old. When he starts watching the other movies and then he sees, oh, that's old Obi-Wan and that's old, Luke's adult now, and that's the stuff. Now he'll have a little more patience for it because I think he's vested in those characters. So that's the thing. But he's ready. The next one is 3, so that's the big one. But going back to it, it's like I'm watching Attack of the Clones, which is not Anakin at his best or most likable. And then it's like I'm watching Ahsoka and I'm like, man, I'm so glad this character and the actor and everything got redemption, because it's like, Anakin is very important to the whole thing. So if you just give us some like really good Anakin to forgive the bad Anakin, and by good I mean good storyline and acting and quality stuff. But he was the best in this show. There's his lightsaber fighting, his relationship with Ahsoka, and just like his presence. It was like the best Anakin. It was awesome. And it makes like when I watch Revenge of the Sith now, which is the next one, it's going to make that more tragic. That fall. That's the part that was the part that was missing, was the hero Anakin. So I think it did an awesome job.
You're really get attached to him. Instead of just watching him like, okay, here's how he turns. It wasn't like, oh God, he's turning. You know what I mean? It didn't really. And what would be the best for me, but I don't see them doing it. But I never watched the Clone Wars. It'd be awesome if they just did a live action Clone Wars.
Yes, a lot of people were asking for that when they saw that Ahsoka stuff. They were like,
because that was awesome. That whole episode was awesome. It was like, and it made me regret not seeing Clone Wars. But I tried to watch Clone Wars, and I just, I didn't really try very hard. But I tried it, and I was like, just Joe, catch me up.
The first seasons are tough. Like the last season, like this awesome arc and stuff. It is hard because like everything else, you got to get through some slump episodes and get through the good episodes, and especially the quality
isn't what it is now. So it's just like with the movies, it's hard to watch older technology CGI things, and it's hard to watch that when you're used to such higher quality of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you watch Toy Story 1 compared to the new ones, you realize like, oh wow, it was a lot different. It got a lot better after that.
Or even make a Clone Wars movie, just a one piece, which would probably be easier to do than a series. Like have one special adventure with that, because I think that actress that played young Ahsoka, I think she's really like 20 or something. What I'm saying is she looks like a kid, but she's not a kid. She's not going to grow out of that. I'm saying 5 years from now, you're not going to have a big drastic change in her. You know what I mean?
Problem.
Like picture, I don't know, the girl that dated Justin Bieber. You know what I mean? There's some people just have that young, youthful look to them. You know what I mean? So that would be, because she was great too.
Yeah, she was.
Fighting, and her chemistry with Anakin was awesome. So that's something. But because they said, I'm pretty sure it's written in stone that the one Dave Filoni's doing is supposed to be a culmination, but I don't know that. Maybe I'm just thinking I heard that, and people were thinking that, but it could be the Clone Wars thing. Maybe they were saying, "Oh, this is awesome," and they were like, "Do a whole movie of this?" I don't know, but that would be really cool. Like I said, really good show. A lot of fun watching. A lot of fun to see at least. I don't know what the future is for Ahsoka, but I definitely like the future of Star Wars is looking bright. And Bob, thanks. It was a blast covering the season, and thanks for being here.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe. We're on YouTube as well as all your podcast players, and you can find all the links you need at bunzarelli.com. We'll see you next time.